There is no coming to consciousness without pain. These are Carl Jung's words, not meant to scare you, but to wake you up. Pain, to Jung, wasn't the enemy. It was the messenger, the alarm bell that something inside you has been ignored for too long. And here's the thing, most people spend their entire lives running from that message. Think about the last time life felt like it was breaking you apart. A breakup that left you shattered. Losing a job that defined your identity. A deep sense of loneliness, even when you were surrounded by people. These aren't random punishments from the universe. They are calls to awakening. Moments when the life you've been living can no longer contain the truth of who you really are. Jung believed that each of us lives with two selves. The self you show the world, your carefully crafted persona, the version of you that plays by society's rules, and the self you hide, the one you've buried so deep you barely admit it exists. This hidden self is what Jung called the shadow. The persona is polite, controlled, socially acceptable. It's the smile you wear even when you're breaking inside. It's the version of you that tries to be good enough, so you'll be loved and accepted. But the shadow holds everything you were told was bad or too much. Your anger, your desires, your wild, irrational dreams, your pain. And here's the truth that most people are too afraid to face. The more you deny your shadow, the more power it has over you. The parts of yourself you refuse to see don't disappear. They go underground, shaping your thoughts, your relationships, and your destiny, all while you remain blind to their influence. Imagine someone who prides themselves on always being calm and nice. They never speak up when they're hurt. They swallow their anger, telling themselves it's better to keep the peace. But one day, something small happens, a comment, a misunderstanding, and they explode in a way that shocks everyone, including themselves. That rage didn't come out of nowhere. It had been building for years, hidden in the shadow, waiting for the perfect moment to break free. Jung explained it perfectly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about that. How many times have you said, "Why does this always happen to me? Why do you keep attracting the same toxic relationships? Why do you repeat the same mistakes, even when you swear you've learned your lesson?" It's not bad luck. It's your shadow pulling the strings over and over again until you face it. But here's the good news. And this is where Jung's work becomes life-changing. The shadow isn't a monster to be feared. It's a teacher. It's the key to unlocking your power. When you confront and integrate these hidden parts of yourself, you stop living on autopilot. You stop being a puppet of your past. You step into a version of yourself that is whole, powerful, and free. This journey isn't easy. It's messy. It requires courage to look at parts of yourself you've been running from for years. But every step you take toward your shadow brings you closer to real freedom. Not the fake, surface-level happiness the world sells you, but deep, unshakable peace. If you've ever felt like you're trapped in a cycle you can't escape, pay attention now, because in the next few minutes, we're going to explore Jung's most profound teachings on how to face your shadow, reclaim your power, and change the course of your life. And trust me, what you're about to hear has the potential to shift your entire reality. But before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe right now, because this is just the beginning of a journey that will completely transform the way you see yourself, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Facing the shadow is like walking into a dark forest at night. At first, all you see is darkness. Your mind screams, "Turn back. It's safer to stay where you are." But Jung taught that true growth only happens when you step forward, even when every part of you wants to run away. Think about it. The shadow isn't just your anger or jealousy. It's also your hidden brilliance, your passion, your creativity, the boldness you suppressed because someone, at some point, told you it was too much. When you hide these parts of yourself, you don't just avoid pain, you avoid power. Take relationships, for example. Have you ever wondered why you keep attracting the same type of person? Even if they hurt you? It's not coincidence. It's projection. Jung discovered that we unconsciously project our hidden qualities onto others. You see in them what you've buried in yourself. That's why toxic patterns repeat. Until you claim those parts, you'll keep meeting them in someone else. Picture this, a woman who always attracts partners who are controlling and critical. She thinks she's just unlucky in love, but deep down her shadow contains a voice that says, "You're not worthy of love unless you're perfect." As long as that belief stays hidden, she'll keep finding partners who mirror it, proving it over and over again. Once she faces that shadow, everything changes. She no longer tolerates what once felt normal. She stops living someone else's story and begins writing her own. Here's the hardest part. The shadow is cunning. It doesn't want to be seen. It hides behind masks, sarcasm, defensiveness, perfectionism, even humor. It whispers, "This isn't me. I'm fine. It's everyone else who needs to change." That's why awareness is everything. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Facing the shadow isn't about becoming positive all the time. It's about honesty. Radical, uncomfortable honesty with yourself. Think about the times you've blamed others for your pain. Maybe you've said, "My boss ruined my career," or "My parents messed me up." But the real question isn't what they did. It's why their actions still have power over you. The answer lives in the shadow. When you uncover those hidden wounds, you take back control. No one, not your past, not society, not even fate, can dictate your future. Let me share a personal example. Years ago, a man came to Jung feeling lost. He had a successful career, a family, a beautiful home, everything society says should make you happy. But inside, he felt empty. Through their work, Jung helped him uncover a shadow belief that his worth was tied to achievement. Every promotion, every milestone was just a way to prove he was enough. The moment he saw that truth, he didn't quit his job or abandon his responsibilities. He simply stopped chasing validation outside himself. And for the first time, he felt free. The same thing is possible for you. Your shadow may be full of pain, but it also holds the key to your transformation. And once you bring light to it, your entire life begins to shift, sometimes in ways that feel almost miraculous. But there's a catch. Most people stop halfway. They read about self-help, watch videos like this, maybe journal a little, and then retreat when things get uncomfortable. They want growth, but without the discomfort that real change demands. And that's why they stay stuck. Here's what Jung would say to them, and to you. The darkness you avoid contains the treasure you seek. Your next level of freedom, love, success. It's all on the other side of what you've been most afraid to face. So ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? What truth am I terrified to admit to myself? Sit with those questions. Because when we come back, we'll dive into how to actually integrate your shadow, step by step, so you can stop repeating the past and finally live as your whole, authentic self. The truth is, if you stop here, your shadow wins. It will keep pulling the strings in secret while you walk through life thinking you're in control. But you're not. Your relationships, your decisions, your failures, all will be quietly directed by the parts of yourself you've tried to hide. And you'll keep wondering why the same patterns repeat over and over, like a haunting song you can't escape. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This isn't just philosophy, it's a warning. And if you've come this far, you already know you can't ignore it anymore. The shadow isn't a monster waiting to destroy you. It's more like a child who was abandoned in the dark, alone and misunderstood. It screams, not because it hates you, but because it longs to be seen. When you deny it, you give it power. When you turn toward it, you begin to reclaim that power. But this isn't about getting rid of your shadow. It's about integration, because every quality you repress, anger, desire, jealousy, even ambition, carries a hidden gift, a fire that, when tamed, can light the path to your authentic self. To start this journey, there are 3 steps. Not easy steps, but simple ones. And each one brings you closer to wholeness. The first step is awareness. You must be willing to see what you've been avoiding for years. Most people live on autopilot, running from discomfort like fugitives chased by their own past. But you're about to do something radically different. The next time you feel anger, jealousy, shame, or deep sadness, don't judge it. Don't push it away. Just observe. Say to yourself, "I feel anger," not "I am angry." The feeling is something you experience, not who you are. This single mental shift may seem small, but it's the first crack of light breaking through decades of darkness. Think of it like opening a window in a room that's been locked for years. Stale air begins to move, and for the first time, you can breathe. The second step is dialogue. The shadow is not a mute force. It has a voice. You just haven't been listening. Try this. Write a letter to your shadow. Yes, really. Or if you dare, speak out loud as if you were in conversation with it. Ask questions like, "What are you protecting me from? What do you need me to understand? When did you first appear in my life?" At first, the answers may come as silence or confusing flashes of memory, but keep listening. Beneath the anger and fear, there's always a deeper truth waiting to be acknowledged. This is not madness, it's healing. Because when you give your shadow a voice, you take back the power it once had over you. You stop being a victim of unconscious forces and start becoming a conscious creator of your life. Finally, integration. This is where true transformation happens. You are no longer rejecting or fighting this part of you. You are welcoming it home. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine your shadow as a separate figure standing before you. See it clearly. The version of you that carries all your unspoken pain, your old fears, your secret desires. This might feel terrifying, but stay with it. Then, do something revolutionary. Thank it. Yes, thank your shadow. It has been trying to protect you all these years. Even if it caused harm in the process, whisper these words. I see you, I honor you, but I don't need you to control me anymore. I choose a new way forward. In that moment, something incredible happens. The shadow stops being an enemy. It becomes your guide. Its raw energy is released, not as chaos, but as strength and clarity. To see this in action, let me tell you a true story. Anna was a brilliant, kind-hearted woman with a secret. She hated herself. No matter what she achieved, promotions, friendships, even marriage, there was always a voice inside whispering, "You're not good enough." This inner critic ruled her life. It sabotaged relationships, destroyed opportunities, and left her feeling like a fraud. She was living a life built on fear, and she didn't even realize it. One day, while journaling, Anna decided to try speaking to that inner voice instead of running from it. To her shock, the words that spilled out weren't cruel, they were desperate. Her shadow wasn't there to hurt her. It was trying to protect her from the pain of rejection she had felt as a child. Through tears, Anna wrote back, "I understand now. You were trying to keep me safe, but I'm not that little girl anymore. I can face the world on my own." That single moment changed everything. Over the next year, Anna integrated her shadow step by step. The voice of criticism didn't vanish. It transformed. It became a guide, reminding her of her worth instead of tearing her down. Her relationships flourished, her career blossomed, and most importantly, Anna felt free for the first time in decades. All because she stopped fighting her shadow and embraced it. When you heal your shadow, you don't just change yourself. You change the world around you. Every person you meet feels the difference. Your energy shifts, and people respond to that shift in ways that can seem almost magical. This is why Jung's work is so powerful. One person's healing becomes a ripple that spreads outward, touching families, communities, and even entire generations. This is the path Jung wanted us to walk. Not a life without darkness, but a life where darkness and light dance together. Your shadow holds the keys to your potential. Every flaw, every fear, every secret you've tried to bury, these are not curses. They are the raw material of your greatness. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. So now ask yourself, what are you ready to face? And more importantly, who will you become when you do? If something inside you woke up today, don't let it fade back into the dark. Subscribe now so we can continue this journey together, exploring the deepest corners of the human mind and unlocking the limitless power of the self you've been hiding all along. When you embrace the darkest parts of yourself, you don't just heal, you become whole. And in that wholeness, you finally discover who you were meant to be and begin to live your best version of life.